Back when nothing truly mattered and we hadn't had a clue. We fell in to play the game. Nothing would ever be the same. There were times when there was laughter. There were times when there was joy. But they took it all away for the pleasure in our pain. Welcome to a whole new world. Shine a light on everything. Please don't be scared for what we made. Welcome to a whole new world. All that I tried to hide away from the scars we made. This is your chance to understand we did not design this plan that was built for you. There's nothing you can do. This is my warning, this is your sign that you can't go running high. We will fight for you. You know it to be true. Welcome to a whole new world. Shine a light on everything. Please don't be scared for what we made. Welcome to a whole new world. All that I tried to hide away from the scars we made. From the scars we Welcome to a whole new world. Shine a light on everything. Please don't be scared for what we made. Welcome to
Welcome back to Nerd Tea, everyone, for another Global Sim Racing Truck Series race. This time we're coming at you live from the simulated Nashville Super Speedway 1.33 mile tri-oval track here. We're going to go 150 laps at nighttime and with fog and with wind and with almost 100% humidity. Except for the 73 degrees, that's fine. That's normal. But everything else is crazy here. You've never seen fog coming into a sunset before this bad and with 100% humidity. It's going to be a crazy, wild broadcast. Dustin's got a lot of work for him behind the scenes. But, yeah, here we are. We're going to do this thing. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Jeremy Stanley, a.k.a. Jay Swifty on the interwebs. And co-producing / broadcaster tonight, Mr. Dustin Loxton, a.k.a. Ballistic. How's it going?
Pretty good. Ready to get back to racing. We've had some time off that we didn't get a chance to really broadcast. We've been kind of racing ourselves, and now we're kind of getting back in the saddle again.
Right.
So well put by Aerosmith. But I tell you what, this track here always poses some good racing. some things to worry about. I mean, these weather conditions, like you were talking about, it's crazy. These weather conditions. I mean, you can see it there in the scenic views we have. It is foggy,
Scenic.
Jeremy. Scenic. It is foggy. It's going to cause some. It could cause some issues, visibility wise, especially under the lights. You see the lights have kicked on officially here in practice as it winds down. We get ready for qualifying. But the wind, humidity. I mean, this track already makes these trucks. You can get trucks aero loose at this track, pretty easy. And this is only going to add to that. So these drivers are going to have to be up on those wheels all race long here for the Bluegrass 200.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I don't think I've ever seen the iRacing server with fog at nighttime. So I don't know what our visibility is going to look like. The lights are on. I know if I'm not in a zoomed in camera angle, I can barely tell who's who. I've seen trucks sliding off corner exits already. That's just because there's a lot of moisture out there. And yeah, this is going to be a wild, crazy thing here. We got a little bit of time left in practice. Looks about 4 minutes in the session. We usually jump live now. I'm not sure if they're going to kick it early, Dustin. We got about a minute left before they usually go to qualifying. So we'll see what that looks like. They did have server issues, though. So that could be where the time delay is. Quick rundown on the points before we go to qualifying, though. Chad McGinley, 44 points ahead of second place Joshua Slade, who's been on a tear these past couple months. He's got the most, first person actually to crack 10 top fives, Dustin. 10 top fives for that number 12 truck Joshua Slade. So he is on a mission. Third place is Bobby Mantle, 88 points back in third. EJ Luna fourth. In fifth place, Justin LeBlanc, 136 back. So they're really Chad McGinley, Joshua Slade, Bobby Mantle. Those three trucks right now are looking strong for this playoff coming up in August.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, Slade's been on a rail. He's definitely trying to chase down and really give McGinley a run for his money, and it's shown because the level of competition between those two on track has amped up over the last probably 2 to 3 races. They've been racing each other hard all race long, so it really puts on for a good show. Sometimes it doesn't always end up the way that they want it to, but I mean, nonetheless, I mean that's racing. I mean that's how it is in real life, and you would expect nothing less in the iRacing simulation software.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And I've seen a couple new colors out here, bunch of trucks, bunch of different looks. I don't know if you could see them on the camera angles. You see one truck loose there, but it is so hard to see, Dustin. If you like, let's see it from the driver's perspective. I know you're not really working the camera right now, but if we could try to take a look at just what this looks like. Like, you can't see anything in the background. You just see a nice little tan sky. And I guess the visibility is okay right now from the driver's perspective, but when you're working the cameras, this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and you can already see we're on board with Brad Miner right now. You see he was loose getting into turn 3 there and off of turn 4. The good thing is the surface of this track here is a lighter surface, so it does kind of light it up a little bit, make it a little easier, but you can already see the handling aspect of it. I mean, he's sawing on that wheel left and right, left and right. These drivers could be in for a handful tonight, Jeremy. This is just single truck driving right now. He didn't have anybody above, below him, in front, behind him. He's just out there driving. Now sit here and group these 24 drivers all up into a pack, diving off into turn 1 or turn 3. It could get a little hairy.
Yeah, I mean, you're riding on the onboard camera there, and that didn't look too loose, but my angle, Bradley Miner, he was probably 10 degrees yawed out there through the whole entire
Look
turn
at that
two.
fog and that zoomed in. Oh, my.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. Like, you couldn't tell in the cockpit, but when you got the camera across the facility, it's just, and this is going to get worse as the sun goes down. And the weather report shows it being this kind of fog the entire event. So will that change later on? It's dynamic weather, who knows? But light fog persistent all the way through till midnight if we happen to go that time.
I would hate to see what heavy fog is. If this is light fog, I'd hate to see what heavy fog looks like, because it would literally destroy a broadcast, hands down.
Yeah, you'd have to broadcast from the camera, from the cockpit angle, the roof camera, the gearbox camera, TV camera. You might as well just retire out for the night. The crew members out there trying to work the TV cameras, because angle will be a thing.
No, absolutely not. Oh, we just got some new colors here for Tyler Honeycutt. So I just noticed that he's running an all orange car there, kind of reminiscent of Tony Stewart there, the Kubota sponsorship on it. So that's different. Normally he's running that Tony Stewart-esque Mobile 1, and look at that. Look at the looseness coming off of 2. Jeremy,
Kubotas are good for yard work, man.
Right, but I'm telling you, these drivers may have a handful in it. And remember, this is an open setup series, so these drivers are trying to dial in their setups. But Jeremy, it's a safe bet right now to say that this weather is not helping that matter out at all.
Oh, not at all. Practice is over, though. Before we drop our cameras, these shirts that we're wearing, head yourself over to nerdtv.gg/nerdswag to pick you up some of this official swag there from Martin Sports. You got the shoulder pieces. What do they call them again? I forget.
The epaulets.
Epaulets.
Or as Scott Martin says, the epaulets.
Epaulets. Okay, there you go. So you got that, or you got this one, which is the version prior with the team stuff on the shoulder. We got that and more, so go check it out. That's nerditudes.gg/nerdswag. But Dustin, let's kick this thing over here, full screen. So qualifying practice, Michael Hayes P1 29.497. But it looks like we got second place on track now. This is Bobby Mantle, 29.517. Just a couple hundred slower. Remember, he's third in points, and really slow approach here coming to the green flag.
Yeah, real slow approach, real high approach. But, I mean, with the way that these trucks were handling Jeremy, I imagine this one is going to be a throwaway lap. He's going to take it high. What he's doing right now is trying to build temps up in those tires a little bit. He's picking the pace up now, but he's going to maintain it to that high line there. So that third to fourth groove up there, so to speak, and that's what he's doing. He's building tire temps up because, trust me, I mean, you've seen on camera there Tyler Honeycutt, coming off of turn 2, those rear tires just broke loose. And when you're trying to maximize your time and you're trying to get every tenth of a second, hundredth of a second, thousandth of a second, you don't want to be flinging it off into turn 1 or turn 3 and not knowing if it's going to stick. You're going to want to make sure that it's going to stick. That's exactly what he's trying to do, was build those tire pressures up.
Yeah, I mean, he is not going to have a good lap here. Throw away first lap and throw away the truck on the second lap. Slaps the wall really hard. Turn 2 exit. And it is a lower temperature. It's almost into the 60s, and it is not your typical asphalt. It is concrete. So get those tires warmed up, and it did not play favors for Bobby Mantle.
No, it did not, but he's staying in it, though. But he crosses the line there at a 31.72. That's where he's going to come into play right now. Danny White, the only driver in the 29-second bracket at a 29.93. Correct that. Brad Miner just cracked the pole at a 29.74. So 2 drivers right now in those 29-second brackets, as now we're starting to get more tallying in here as more drivers are crossing the line.
Yeah, J-Dog Motorsports, Abram Ghostin comes through there. P4 now as they're still starting to file in. Clayton White, holy time there, kind of matches his practice time, 29.576. Going to take P1 on the board right now. First person to crack the 5s in qualifying. EJ Luna in second place there. Jacob Grant also coming through at the 661. And they're still filing through. Jamie Horn beats out Clayton White, 29.564. He's now P1.
Yeah, by 100th of a second. So, I mean, they are just doing it. And then Slade comes in to top them and knock them all back down by 0.04 of a second. So, Jeremy, they're just cracking it right now, man. It's not tense now. They're beaten by hundreds.
Yeah, who else is going to file through? We've had probably the most overtakes of first place in qualifying we've ever seen it, just one after another. Still got a couple fast guys out here. Michael Hayes is not taking time. He was your fastest person in practice, that number 1 truck. So if he could do something right there, you see his camera there, so he's on track. Still could beat out Josh Slade here.
Yeah, these drivers, and like I said, I mean, you look at these times right now, Jeremy, so your top 10 essentially is only separated by about 2.5 tenths of a second. That is your top 10 on lone qualifying right now. That's pretty close, especially with the way that these trucks appeared to be handling during practice. This is going to be pretty close racing. Now the question is how are they going to handle in race conditions?
We're going to find out. There's so many different variables here. 98% humidity, like that's crazy. That's a lot of moisture. Oh, no. Well, Michael Hayes no longer going to have a chance. He's going to back it down. He's going to do the veteran move here. He's going to stop before the start-finish line.
He's going to rack it and stack it.
There you go. That's the better way to put it. Rack it and stack it. It means only gets one lap effort. But John Howard in the 78. Where did he come from? I know he ran a pretty third of fastest in practice, but Dustin almost cracked the 4 there with a 5:05 P1.
Oh, yeah, almost cracked it, definitely. So, and I tell you what, he just joined Team Whatchamacallit there with, at the helm, their driver Clayton White. So both of those drivers right now slotted both in the top 5, and that's where they are going to end it for today's qualifying. So John Howard is your pole winner for tonight's event.
What happened there? Michael Hayes, I thought he was going to rack it and stack it. I guess he just racked it and put it back on the stack, aka the trailer, because called it. But it is race time. It is darker. We are still foggy. You can see that visibility is not so great from the camera angle, but from the track perspective, I think it's going to be okay. But this is the Bluegrass 200, and we're going to get this starting order. Well, I mean, that was crazy camera angle that you pulled up there. But
wow.
Here we go. John Howard going to be P1 here tonight. Joshua Slade, second place. Brandon Crichton in third. Jamie Horn in fourth. Fifth place would be Clayton.
Okay, so apparently our drone cam is completely jacked up. That's new. Okay.
Dustin, you're supposed to mount the camera on top of the drone, not the bottom of it. What are you doing over there?
Apparently just completely jacking stuff up.
It's okay. Well, let's rack it and stack it ourselves here. John Howard, P1, Slade, second. Brandon Crichton, third. Jamie Horn, fourth. Clayton White, P5. Tyler Honeycutt in sixth. EJ Luna starting at P7. Brody Marinko, eighth. Jacob Grant, ninth. Bradley Miner's going to be your last person starting in the top 10. 11th on back is John Day Mateo, 12th. Abram Ghostin, 13th. Curtis Noble. 14th, Danny White. 15th will be Stephen Knight. 16th, Ron Harrington. 17th, Bobby Mantle, and that was your last person to take time. 18th on back, filed by iRating. Michael Hayes in 18th, Stephen Hayes. Alongside him in 19th, William Gay there in 20th. 21st, Patrick Genter. 22nd is going to be Shane Wielden. 23rd, Jason Shielding. 24th, Kenny Heath and Stephen Smith. Last person on the grid here. 25 entries for the Bluegrass 200. And I know we had a couple weeks off, but we need to fire that person who mounts that camera to the drone. We're not going to have that action live because, well, no one wants to get sick watching our broadcast.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we'll have to take a look at that and get that corrected for next week's broadcast. That's the first time, Jeremy, we've ever had an issue with our drone camera, and really the first time in I don't know how many broadcasts that we're not going to have my free-floating drone control camera there available, so that's going to be unfortunate.
Kenny Heath, Stephen Smith actually did not start the grid. Currently not on track yet, so 23 trucks will be taking the green flag here tonight. I think Stephen Hayes is the admin tonight. That's why he's listed as a driver, so do not expect the 41. Kenny Heath, however, not in here, just kind of watching as well. And we're going to see what John Howard does here. I think this is his first pole of the 2024 season. Got a big lead, or at least over the 12, who might be lagging back a little bit. And there we go. The Bluegrass 200 is underway. Joshua Slade did lag back, gets that jump start. He beats the 78 to the line.
Yeah, they're still side by side a little bit. It still has a quarter panel on him as Howard dives down to the inside. But here's the thing, Slade's going to be able to keep it wide open and clear him before the exit of turn 2. Slade up to the top point. Howard now in second place is 0-2 of Brandon all over the back bumper of Howard at this moment.
Brandon making some moves here, trying to get underneath John Howard through 3 and 4. The 14, Clayton White's all over the back bumper. He's going to slide up to the outside here. Going to utilize a little side draft to not get there, though, as he's a little unstable on the straightaway. Allows Brandon to file through here. Single file for the top 5.
Yeah, single file for the top 5 right now. Drivers are still trying to figure it out as you see EJ Luna get a little loose there and bobble, and he's going to pay the price. Tyler Honeycutt is going to go to the inside. Going to try to complete that pass going into 3 side by side. They're racing through 3 and 4 right now as it looks like EJ Luna has got it gathered back up. But Jeremy, these drivers right now still trying to feel these trucks out.
Still trying to feel them out, and it's creating a lot of side by side action early on for the first 2 laps here of the Bluegrass 200. See the 46 Bradley Minor trying to make the pass happen on the 98 here. Jamie Horn, dead heat down the back straightaway going to turn 3. Bradley Minor does have the preferred group and will make that pass happen.
Yeah, he is going to clear him going into 3, coming out of 4. The driver's starting to get it lined back up, Jeremy. And we have seen this typically. If this race can go on a longer green flag run, you're going to see a lot of single file driving. You're going to see very timed passes because people don't want to sit here and burn their tires. You know, like you said, this track surface is a different pavement than most other tracks, very reminiscent of that of Dover and Bristol. So it can be abrasive at times to these tires. So these drivers are not going to want to waste time side by side any longer than what they absolutely have to.
Yeah, and this track is not a standard cookie cutter track. On paper, it looks like, you know, a standard 1.5-mile configuration, right? But turn 2 really widens out, sweeping corner exit. You can do a lot of different strategies through that corner as far as trying to make a pass or tire conservation. Turn 3 and 4 completely different. You get to turn 4, the thing cuts off real quick. It's a slow exit corner. Wall sneaks up on you real fast. And so if you're trying to run the top there in 3 and 4, you have a good chance of slapping the wall or really eating up the tires, abusing them. So you got to keep care. As you see the pass there, that was Mr. Mantle making the pass there on the 19 of Jacob Grant. Now looks like Michael Hayes and the ones trying to make the same thing happen to the 19 through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and like you were talking about, this track almost has 5 corners, Jeremy. I mean, it has your traditional turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, but that tri-oval is such a wide, gaping, curved tri-oval. It's almost its own corner in itself as you set off, you know, full sail into turn 1. So it you can see a lot of passing opportunities if you get good corner exit off at turn 4 for these drivers. And you will see some of these drivers utilize that apron much like what you would at some of the other cookie cutter tracks like a Chicagoland, a Kentucky, Kansas, Vegas. You'll see them dip down below there, but they got to be careful, Jeremy, with this new damage model now. Those side skirts can take damage now, and with that, a lot of the times drivers going down there, they have been damaging those side skirts, and it may not amount to much on pit road for damage repair, but again, damage is damage and can negatively affect your truck and handling in some way, shape, or form.
If you're not a racing fan or don't know much about racing, the underside of the body can be very important. And if you mess that up, you can cause side force issues, some ill handling trucks, and yeah, you got to keep care of the undercarriage as well. A little bit of a transition on the front straightaway if you're going to go to the flat apron side, but outside of that, this track is relatively smooth as far as not hitting a bump large enough to maybe knock the side skirt off of it, but definitely something to look out for with this the rest of the season because of the new aero package and everything these trucks received on the latest update on the iRacing service.
Our new leader right now, driver of the 02, Brandon, sat here and drove by his one-of-one motorsports teammate of Joshua Slade, so that puts him in P1. Looks like Slade's got the little blinkies going on. Slade now falling back to Clayton White. Clayton White closing in on him, and Clayton White has had a solid run since the drop of the green flag tonight, so he's doing quite well in his own right. But still single file, Jeremy. I mean, we see a lot of stuff going on. It looks like right now they're coming up to the first lap traffic of tonight's event on lap 11. That looks like it's going to be the 41 Steven Smith possibly coming up here to be lapped.
Not only is 0-2 in the 12 first and second, 101 Motorsports has all 4 trucks inside the top 10. They also have John Day Mateo and Bradley Minor. They are 7th and 8th respectively there. So first, second, 7th, 8th for this team, who have collectively been faster. John Day Mateo has been picking up pace a little bit. Brandon, we're new to seeing, and he's been, last week he put on a real strong show, right? And then Bradley Minor, mid-season, just came out of nowhere, and he's found himself in the top 10 more times than not.
Yeah. And talking about teams, so you talked about 101 Motorsports. You have Team Whatchamacallit up there with Clayton White and John Howard. Those 2 drivers are up there, both in the top 5. You have Ghost Motorsports is present up there as well. And you also have Lone Star Racing is up there. EJ Luna is in the top 10. You don't come to your first Grim Reaper Motorsports driver until Steven Knight, running P9 right now. And could be here in the next couple laps battling to even maintain that position, as Mike Hayes is on a rail right now trying to move up through this field.
You know what's surprising, Dustin?
What's that?
How do we not call out the fact that Chad McGinley, our points leader, is not here this evening? You said Grim Reaper, and I'm like, wait, I don't remember hearing Chad's name at all. And that's going to shake up the points there. Put Joshua Slade in great contention to take over that. But yeah, the 65 not here this evening. And it's kind of weird to see Grim Reaper not up there in the top 5. You said the first person is in 9th place, Steven Knight. Usually we see those spoilers up there, top 3, top 4, no problem, but Nashville is just not the place for this team.
Well, and to further that, we did overlook that, and something else we overlooked is Grim Reaper Motorsports only has 2 out of their 5 drivers here tonight. They do not have McGinley, they do not have JJ McCoy, and Ron Holmes is not here either. So the only drivers representing Grim Reaper Motorsports tonight are Steven Knight running P9, and that 79, and his teammate Bobby Mantle running P11 in the 89.
Yep. So there you go, lap 16, and there's your team update there for Grim Reaper. I guess they decided to take 2 weeks off and not just 1. And overtime is being paid for Bobby Mantle and Steven Knight, apparently, as they're going to do the 150 laps here at the Nashville Super Speedway here. Coming across the line, lap 17, Brandon Crichton still at the point, 0.3 of a second ahead of second place Joshua Slade. And yeah, pretty clean opening start here. You said it early. This is exactly how this race typically plays out, is you're going to do tire management over racing your opponents here. Race the track, not your opponents. And you will see this for the good chunk of this race. But Dustin, I don't know if you've noticed, but the fog, where'd the fog go? I can see the camera angles perfectly as the nights fell on.
Oh yeah, apparently once the sun set and the moon came out, and the power off of these LED high beam lights around this beautiful complex has apparently performed a Houdini act on the fog tonight. So it is gone. We can see everything clearly. So which is great on that one there. Something else too to talk about, Jeremy. We're watching this this racing going on right now. Is that could be why Slade might be taking a little bit more of a conservative run tonight. He didn't put up much of a battle for his teammate to fall back to second, because he could be thinking points. These drivers are always thinking points. That's why they don't give up until their truck literally does not run anymore. Slade is gearing up to have a fantastic points night tonight. With McGinley not here, the only one that he has to really battle right now other than that is going to be Bobby Mantle, and he's slotted outside the top 10 right now. So this could be, as long as Slade can maintain, a solid points game night tonight.
Well, keep in mind too, which he very well could be, but the 0-2, Brandon Crichton, he started his first race last week and won in dominant fashion. He's leading again here with a half a second lead over Joshua, so don't give him a lot of track space, because apparently he's fast. And so these opponents out here tonight will have to kind of manage his track position and figure out, is he going to be a threat for the remainder of this entire season. First 2 races, it looks like that is the case, holding still a 5/10 of a second lead over that 12 truck. And you talked about LEDs a little bit ago, Dustin. What about our friends over at iRacing iFlag, official flag marshaling partner for the Nerditudes? 64 LEDs lit on a nice display. It gives you all the notifications that a spotter would offer you on the racing surface. And so if you want to up your game and complete your sim rig, head yourself over to iRacingIFlag.com. Use promotion code SUPERNERD for 15% off. And Mr. Jeff over there, who creates these things, gives back 70% of everything he makes back into the community, whether it be for sponsorship or charity or any type of promotion to just kind of support a lot of different leagues throughout the iRacing world. So once again, that's iRacingIFlag.com. Pick up one of these units today. It is awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely great product put out by Jeff Brown over there at iRacing iFlag. And new products are in the works right now. Currently in alpha testing his brand new digital pit board. This thing is a beautiful product. Every sim racer is gonna want it to complete their sim rig, as well as newer iFlag units. I dub them the iFlag XL. I don't know if Jeff is going to do it, but maybe if I say it enough on broadcast, he'll have no choice but to call it the iFlag XL. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But that's in the works as well. So always trying to stay on top of stuff to bring the sim racers everything that they possibly can. That's what Jeff's goal is, and always giving back to the community. Probably one of the best stand-up guys, and why iRacing iFlag and himself has been one of the longer running partners for Nerditudes, right alongside Scott Martin and Sue Martin from Martin Sports. So always fantastic people to work with.
Yeah, 100% there. Well worth the look. And as we're talking, the lead just continuing to just grow and grow and grow. 6/10 now over Joshua Slade. Clayton White is 1.5 back. Tyler Honeycutt 2 back. Another race leader, but that doesn't mean there's not bad racing going on. You see side by side here.
Yeah, I've been watching this one. This battle for 8th. This has been pretty good between Mike Hayes, Steve Knight, and Brad Miner. They've been kind of duking it out. Hayes kind of separating himself, but Miner and Knight still going at it, though. I've been watching this for about the last couple laps, Jeremy.
And the times I was running down, too, it's just a shorter track. It's a slower track. And so since it's slower, even though a second and a half sounds like a lot, maybe like Atlanta, but over here, that's still within reach because we're running a lot slower speeds, 130 miles an hour in the corners. So definitely manageable there. But yeah, great racing there. Looks like that settled itself out. And top 10 goes back to single file.
Yeah, and like we said, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a follow the leader. I mean, the groove on this track is pretty well set, but these drivers are going to try to maximize their passing efforts and their passing attempts right now. As you see Jamie Horn trying to maximize that attempt right now on the 89 of Bobby Mantle. So the whole goal is to try to complete these passes quick and fast. And here's the thing. Bobby doesn't want to stay up on that high side too long, because the longer he stays on that high side, the more he's going to chew those tires. So he's going to have to come to a decision that, hey, am I going to be able to complete this pass? If not, is it just better in my ability as, the 98 had to check up on corner exit. Mantle drove by on that one. But what I was saying is sometimes these drivers have to come to a decision. Do I keep fighting, or do I just let them go, let my tires set, and come back later?
I think at this point in the race, 28 laps in, I think you just kind of go for it. At this point, tires are eating up. You know if your truck has it or not. You've kind of observed your opponents at this time, and you know if they've been pushing it or if they've been relaxing. And getting a little race here, Bradley on the outside of the 98, Jamie Horn. Jamie Horn started 4th, back to 12th, one of the furthest people in the field from their starting spot, 29 laps prior. Just struggling to maintain speed here. One of the trucks that probably pushed a little too early.
Yeah, well, and remember, too, it's when we were watching practice, Brad Miner was struggling with handling on that truck. It was very loose. And, he seemed like he was doing very well early on, but the possibly could be a handling thing right now with that truck as well, because he's on that high side there, where you usually the looseness in these trucks tends to go away a little bit. The more you try to turn and force and muscle that wheel on that inside, and you put more wear and strain on that right rear like that, that's where you typically have some of your issues. So I mean, it could be a handling thing right now, as you see him finally pull down back behind the 19 of Jacob Grant. He at this point in time right now, Jeremy, that slots him in 13th. He ended up losing about 4 positions in that entire exchange here.
Yeah, he did for sure. And I think this is going to be a great little cut and break here to go to our first picture-in-picture commercial. So we'll be right back here shortly. Back full screen here, currently on lap 39 of the scheduled 150 laps here for the Bluegrass 200 from the Nashville Super Speedway, which I don't know why they call it Super Speedway, never have and probably never will understand why that is the case, but nonetheless, your top 5 really still the same. Brandon slightly pulling ahead, almost a whole second now. Clayton White third, 2.5 back almost of your race leader, so things are continuing to space out a little bit more. If you load up the iRacing iFlag track map here on the top left-hand side of your screen, That's what 40 laps here of continuous green flag action looks like in Nashville, Dustin.
Yeah, it's really spaced out. You see roughly about 2/3 of the track is pretty much taken up right now by trucks driving all over the place. And Jeremy, I mean, we're at the point now that these drivers are gonna have to start thinking about green flag pit stops. We're working lap 41 to 50. The pit window for these trucks is roughly about 50 to 54, 55 laps, depending on how much you've been saving. So these drivers are going to have to start gearing up for green flag pit stops. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers are going to take that, because we haven't had, green flag pit stops at this track yet. It's the first time we've ran this track this season and last season that we've been broadcasting. So it's going to be interesting, but you know as well as I, races can be made or broken on pit road. How many times in this league or any other of the amazing leagues that Nerditudes and Nerd TV broadcast for have we seen pit penalties completely destroy somebody's good chances? We've seen it take wins away, Jeremy. So green flag pit stop it's a big thing. It's a stressful thing because these drivers do not have crew chiefs for the most part. They are their crew chiefs, so they're selecting what they need done, what changes they need done to the setup, all while driving at the same time. Try to see an actual race car driver do that before they come into pit road and making those adjustments and everything else on it. You won't. So it's another aspect of sim racing that isn't part of real life racing.
Yeah, it's a solid point to be had too, and it's not the fact that you can't get down to pit speed because you're already going slow here, and the actual entrance line is deep into the zone for pit road. It's actually turning sharply, getting onto the flat, onto that little strip, getting to pit road. That's the difficult part here, because you're already making a sharp turn. Your truck's super tight because you've lost all your tire grip because this thing is concrete. And so it's kind of tricky when you're going 50, 60 laps trying to find your virtual crew members here. Seeing the 19 running on the inside. This is Jacob T. Grant fighting Bobby Mantelwitz. These guys have been around each other all 44 laps, it seems like anyways. And the outside is starting to work for Bobby here, trying to hold that momentum. Gets a little bit of a run off the corner exit. And so you can tell the tire wear is falling off because that second groove is allowing Bobby Mantle to kind of hang tight here.
Yeah, and we've seen him work that before. I mean, that's how he maintained and actually fought back and got the position back from the attacking number 98 of Jamie Horn, who had been doing, relatively decent, but it's fallen back 9 spots from his starting position. So, like you said, that's... Oh! Contact made from John Howard on the 19 of Grant. That is going to be... I don't know what that was. I don't know if Grant was trying to come down pit road and just did not get down soon enough, or what was going on.
Oh.
We're going to sit here and take our VHS rewind here. That's exactly what was happening. Howard was going to come down to the pit road. Mantle and Grant were coming up on him fighting side by side, and as he was slowing down, Grant was right there and contact was made. Looks like Howard was still able to bring it down to pit road speed, but at what cost to the 78 and the 19 with damage?
Could you VHS rewind that just a little bit further? There was something that John Howard did on the back straightaway that I was kind of curious about. He started this race P1, and he's falling back because of the pit. Look at this right
here. Okay, I know exactly what that is. So, Jeremy...
He didn't get loose.
No. So, for the viewers out there, this league does not have open communications in iRacing for drivers to talk to other drivers and to sit here and let them know that they're pitting. So, the general rule of thumb is if a driver is going to pit, they will dip their truck down below that line onto the apron down the backstretch to let them know that, hey, I am pitting. He sees them coming. He goes down, says, hey, I'm pitting. Comes back up to let them know. So that way when he goes down in... But here's the thing. The 19 is a newer driver to this league. You see, look at Bobby Mantle. He's way up high because he knows the 78's pitting. The 19 does not. That could have been just a miscommunication. The 19 of Grant just didn't know that that was what they do to let the drivers behind him know, hey, I'm pitting.
Yeah, that is one of the unique features here for the Global Sim Racing Truck Series. No driver communication, just like they would in real life, but you can't also stick your hand out of a virtual window, so there's less communication to be had than in the actual real life stuff. And
That is
if
their
you're-
version of sticking their
Yeah.
hand out the window.
Yeah, if you're John Howard though, hug that yellow line at the same time. He washed up so tight. He had such a shallow entrance because he went so aggressive below that line to let them know. If he would have held that bottom, maybe that wouldn't have been an issue. But it was just a weird little circumstance. As I'll see the 88 Curtis Noble. He's down pit road.
Yep, right at that 50 to 54, 55 window. Green flag pit stops have started. I do want to shout out to that Michelle Rittenberry hitting us up on Facebook side saying, hey guys, how are you doing? Glad that you had joined us. And Holmesy says, let's go Grim Reaper Motorsports. Well, Holmesy, it would be better if you would have been here and not just having two of your team drivers here, my guy. But thanks anyway for joining in and watching the racing action go on. Pit road is getting busy, Jeremy.
It is that time, shallow of lap 50. We're seeing quite a few entrances come down pit road. Look how dark that pit road is.
It
too.
is
There's a lot
so
of LED
dark.
lights, but it's not illuminating much. It is a very dark scene down there.
It is so dark. I was going to say that too, and you beat me to it. Like, pit road entry is good, but once you get past the first 10 stalls, it is like super dark. You can't see, you could barely see some of the logos on the sides of the truck.
Yeah, kind of impressive. Oh, we see the 19 of Grant and the 98 here of Jamie as well. Two more vehicles finding their way down pit road. Looks like Ron Harrington also. Leaders still have not come down pit road. Look at the number one of Michael Hayes, though, on the scoring board. 18th to 5th. Now to 4th as they're starting to cycle through more. But this truck, even though he's only 10 seconds back, if he can get a caution, this number one truck, remember, he slapped the wall in qualifying, put himself in a bad spot, had trouble trying to pass some trucks, but finally when they got strung out, is able to pick them off one by one by one. But if he, oh, there's the race leader right there. He's down with the number 12. But if the one can get a caution, I think this will be a 3-truck race for the lead.
Oh, it absolutely could. And I mean, that would be the best case scenario, to maintain that track position. Track position is key at this track. Why? Because that's less trucks you have to try to drive around to get back up to the front. It's less tire wear that you have. So, I mean, that would be ideal. But Jeremy, is spread out is what this race is right now. You look at that track map, spread out is what it is. The likelihood of a caution is very, very narrow at this point in time. About the only thing that you would have is these drivers coming out on fresh tires. They're not up to temp. They're not up to pressure. So a handling issue could cause that, coming off of turn 2 and turn 4 like what we've seen in practice. That would be about the only thing that could possibly happen because there's a lot of these drivers that like Clayton White here. He's leading the race. He's got nobody around him. Nobody in front, nobody in behind. As he's coming down pit road, you see him get a little loose here coming in. So, but he will get it woed down to pit road speed. He will relinquish the race lead at this point in time. And it will go to the gentleman you were talking about, the number 1 of Mike Hayes, as he's under fire right now from the 0-2 of Brandon and soon the 12 of Joshua Slade as they fight to get their lap back the hard way. But right now, Mike Hayes leading the way.
The easiest fight right there, old versus new. 56 laps now on this virtual Goodyear set for Michael Hayes. Does he come down this time? Does he string it out? Looks like he's going to go at least another circuit around this 1.33 mile facility. A little tight there. Almost hits the wall. And going to play the different strategy card. He's going to be out there quite a few extra laps. Always curious to see if this is going to help or hurt someone. But they're going to pit around close to lap 50. So that means you could go a third of the way each way. 50, 100, 150. And that's it. That's the end of the race. So to string it out like this, potentially with no cautions, I don't know if this is the best call, but we'll see what Michael has in store.
Yeah, I don't know. With everybody else coming in, I mean, he's got to come in and pit. All he's doing right now is losing time on the track. The only difference is where some of these drivers, I mean, either way you look at it, they just pitted right now. They'll have to pit again, even the drivers that came in first at lap 100. And that's it. They should be good to go all the way to the end. On a 2-stop, no matter how you look at it, it's going to be a 2-stop race. So staying out is just hurting him. There's no way he's going to make it to lap 75, which is a halfway point, to make this a 1-stopper. It's just not going to happen. You don't. It's. I mean, he's going to lose so much time on there. They're going to circle back around the track and nab him even before the tires equalize out between new tires and old tires. So, at this point in time, he may just be hoping for a caution just to sit here and have a lot of these drivers force one lap down.
Yeah, I mean that could be the call there, and it would put him in position if he can catch a yellow for sure. Put him back where he wants to be, which is the race lead. And if he doesn't, if he caution this corner, he would have to pit, right? And he would be in the back, but he would have much fresher tires if everyone selected to stay out. So continuing to lead laps, Jason Schilling in second place, the 95 truck, 23 back. So it looks like, what is it, the top 3 have not pit?
Nope.
Everybody else looks like
just
has
the
it.
top
Not
one.
extras.
Just Mike
Just the
Hayes
one?
is the only one that is not pitted, and he's pitting right now. Brandon in the 02 is the first driver that's going to be at the top of the pylon there that is actually going to be pitting, and he's going to take over the race lead with Joshua Slade behind him.
There we go. Yep, 95 down pit road. So this will cycle back the 02. Brandon Crichton as the race leader. Not probably this time, but next time by, who has almost an entire second over Joshua Slade, basically resuming where they left off before pit road happened there. And clearing out some traffic right now. The 02 now has fresh air once more on the nose. The number 12 Slade, who's continuing to have a little bit of an internet hiccup. You see him blink in and out from time to time. He's been doing that all race long. I don't think that's going to affect his night overall, but probably making a little sketchy situations happen to some people as he's passing them.
Yeah, and one of the drivers too, like I said, we look at our top 5 right now. Clayton White just outside that top 5, but Tyler Honeycutt now up in the podium position. EJ Luna up in the top 5, and John Howard working his way back up in the top 5. So green flag pit stops is definitely shaking a number of things up, Jeremy.
Yeah, it typically happens. I mean, people practice pit road, but some people don't. And some people try to maximize it. They make mistakes, so it's a very strong variable in a green flag running race like this, where it's already kind of strung out, and then you have to try to, be better than the person who's going to be pitting in front of you. So it's all part of racing. And with that being said, Dustin, I think we're going to kick it to our second picture commercial break after all the pit stops have happened. So we'll be right back. back full screen once more here. The number 2, Brandon Crichton, just completed lap 68 of scheduled 150, getting close to the halfway mark. We do have a sponsor that's not on our commercial rotation, so at least a couple of them, that is. So I'd like to thank our new partner, Elite Performance Industries, known as EPI. RaceEPI.com is their URL. Powering victories for the nerd crew here, Nerd Esports in particular. And appreciate you jumping on board with us. Great brand, a lot of fast setups in their camp. So if you've not already looked at Elite Performance Industries and are looking to pick up some wins in the win column, I would look no further. Head over to RaceEPI.com, and if you're running one of the vehicles they support, I would highly advise to purchase one of their really fast setups and get yourself into victory lane today.
Yeah, they got great stuff over there at Race EPI. Super proud to be running their logos, their colors there. Tyler Payne, talked back and forth with him. Probably one of the most down-to-earth nice guys out there. Great to work with, and look forward to see what EPI and Nerditudes can do here in the near future coming up. So should be some fun stuff happening. But right now, Jeremy, like I said, that racing, it is stretched out after green flag pit stops. I mean, you get little pockets and packets of 2-3 trucks here or there, but really right now, none that are in striking distance to even pass each other. Like they're in cruise control at this point in time, and they're just taking laps as we're working lap 72 of lap 150.
Yep, just a handful of laps away from the halfway mark here in the Bluegrass 200. 1.6 seconds is your race lead gap. 6.6 back to third place. So top two have really strung themselves out here. Look at the 54 now. That's Brody Marinko, one of the lap down trucks. This little foursome of trucks on the front straightaway. That was Ron Harrington right in front there in the 57. That is for position 19th and 20th respectively. And starting to see some mix up of the lap down trucks and the lead lap trucks there battling on track at the same time, Dustin.
Yeah, this pack right here has been behind your third place runner right now, Tyler Honeycutt, probably for about the last 7-8 laps, kind of duking it out amongst themselves. So you're going to have a mixture of that. You're going to have a mixture of those lap down cars with the lead lap. I keep saying cars. We're at trucks, Dustin. Come on, we're in trucks. But you're going to see a mixture of these lap down trucks with the lead lap trucks. And here's the thing, the lap down trucks are going to try everything they can to stay out of the way of the racing line for the lead lap trucks, but at the same time, those that are on the lead lap need to understand that these drivers are also racing for position. The 54, the 48, and the 57, they're all kind of racing for position right now. You see right now, Harrington is duking it out right now with the 14 of Clayton White, but you see Harrington, because he doesn't have anybody around him, he yields way and lets him go. Probably also helps. Those two are also teammates on Team Whatchamacallit. But the fact still remains that, I mean, you have different pockets of racing that are going on here, both on the lead lap and off the lead lap.
Absolutely true. And 17 trucks on the lead lap as your race update there. 24 trucks. Stephen Smith did start 9 laps later, or 7 laps later after the green flag. So 24 on the surface. No one has backed out of the race yet. Haven't really seen much contact, minus that little hiccup there from John Howard and Jacob Grant
and
pit road entry.
Honeycutt that just smacked the turn 2 wall.
And, he heard me talking about it, so he decided to put the second or the third truck to make some type of contact, at least from our camera perspective. So very, very, very clean race here tonight from the Global Sim Racing Truck Series, boys.
Yeah, it's a lot better. But, I mean, we've also had a lot of conversations with drivers and admins alike over here at Global Racing League. And they have always stated, Jeremy, if you remember way back when we were first talking about, even broadcasting for them and working out a deal, that 1.5-mileers are where they shine. Those 1.5-mile speedways, cookie cutters, like in, your quad ovals, that's where these drivers tend to really shine, and that's where the racing, they can really showcase how clean that the racing is that they have to offer over here at Global Racing League.
and this is a great performance for to showcase this. Not every race needs to be fully eventful from green flag to checkered flag, and this is just one of those tracks where they're running a single file race for the most part and spread out, but they're really showing their talents as far as how clean they can race one another. And we're going to focus in on that. We're going to do the thing called turn up the tudes. We're just going to amp the sound of the trucks up. We're going to turn our volumes down. And you get to watch the clean racing here from the Global Sim Race Truck Series. And so enjoy the next few minutes of just V8 power here from these NASCAR trucks. And that's what we call turn up the tudes. We don't get to play that every single time, but how this race is playing out, I figured it'd be a great little segment there to put a little break in the broadcast. And at the same time, do something a little different. Here the trucks go around Nashville Super Speedway, currently on lap 89 now, I do believe, as Brandon Dusk completed lap 88. 1.7 second lead over second place. Joshua Slade, third place. Tyler Honeycutt, not 20, but 7.5 seconds back, Dustin. This top 5 really is big time separated.
Yeah, it's right now I think your closest individuals are actually going to be the 20 of Honeycutt and the 14 of Clayton White behind him. Those two there, are probably the two drivers in the top 5 that are closest to actually putting some battle to each other for position. But yeah, I mean, with the way everything is going, everything is just super spread out. This long green flag run, look at that, Jeremy. There's trucks literally all around this track in some way, shape, or form. They're all over the place. And we have pit stops. They got to start gearing up for pit stops. Remember, the first green flag pit stops took place on lap 50. That means at lap 100 of 150, start looking for those drivers to start making their marks to come down pit road to the service of their virtual pit crews. So we're looking at in 10 laps, these drivers are going to start looking, at least the earliest ones are going to start looking to come down to make that final green flag pit stop, which should take them to the end of this race, Jeremy.
Now, what do you think Michael Hayes does? He came down, or everyone started pitting when he was about 10 seconds back. He stayed out an extra, 10 laps? And now he has scored 16 seconds back of your race leaders. Do you think he runs it out again and goes about 15, 20 laps further and does a really short last stint? Or do you think he kind of equalizes it and comes down, kind of soonish with the race leaders? At
this point in time, I mean, there's so many strategies that could have played out, that absolutely could have played out on why he stayed out like that. He could have been testing it, hoping for that caution. And here's the thing, if that's what the case was, with the way this racing is, we've gone almost 100 laps, no caution at all. So the likelihood of that is, again, the margin is very, very small that that's going to happen. At this rate, Jeremy, I don't think you try to play that card again. I really don't. I don't think it's going to benefit if he wants to try to maximize his finishing position. At this point, short pit it compared to what you did the first time. It was lap 62 to 64 when he came in. At this point, man, I think you come in and try to get fresh tires on there and try to make up as much time as possible on track early. And that's going to force the hand of some of the leaders as well, because the longer they stay out, that's more time on the track that he's going to have to cut down that deficit that he has right now, because it's a pretty big one. I mean, the deficit from first to third is 10 seconds. It's or 7 seconds, almost 8 seconds, and look, top 5, it's over 12 seconds. So I think you got a short pit to try to cut down some of that time. That's about the only way you're going to be able to cut down that amount of time. Over 16 seconds, Jeremy, that's a tough and tall order right there.
And even though he's got the fresher tires, he is struggling to get around John Day Matella here in the 26. This is a battle for 6th place. And Michael Hayes barely noses him at the line that time to complete 93. But even with the better set of tires, the 26 is putting on a strong fight here. Finally relinquishes that battle. So now Michael Hayes solely owns 6th place. 26 going to try to stick the nose underneath. Does not make it happen. Does not have the grip to do it. And this is where the one's going to pull away. But that costed Michael 0.3 of a second, back to 16.2, which he was at 15.9 a couple laps prior. And yeah, I'm going to have to side with you. You're going to have to not extend it out, because if you catch the caution late, you're still going to be in the back. And if everyone else pits with you, then you're going to be in the back and in the same situation you were on lap 1. So I think you just cut your loss a little bit, come down 100 to 105, and run the rest of the thing out.
Yeah, Clayton White already coming down to pit road, so short pitting already taking place right now. 14 is giving up his spot, so here we are. We're starting it. That's going to be Clayton White's final pit stop. But yeah, here's the thing. Look at it this way. It has taken, at this point in time, 40 laps, over 40 laps for Mike Hayes just to crack the top 10. And look what he's doing, Jeremy. I think he might be listening. He's coming in possibly to short pit. That's exactly what he's doing. He's going to try to maximize. I 110% agree with this call, Jeremy. Took him over 40 laps just to crack the top 5 again. Get fresh tires on there, get out there, start putting some heaters down. try to make up that 16-second deficit that you have and solidify your position in the top 5 and see what you have at the end to try to chase down a possible podium.
Yeah, this is a good call. Really long first stint, really short second stint, and then about an average time there on the last one if we go green the whole way. So one of the first to pit. I saw Clayton White pit. You talked about it. He actually was one of the first ones, I believe, that came down the first set of pit stops. So that seemed like that was on cue for the 14. We're just a couple laps away from cracking 100. And I think that's when we saw this guy and the guy in front of him come down pit road.
Yeah, now the question is how long is it going to be before they come down pit road? So, Jeremy, you've been dropping the ball, man, on these YouTube chats, man. You're going to leave it up to me? It looks like your brother's in there, man. He's blowing it up. Says, what up, J-Dub? D-Dog, what up? What's going on, Brian? Glad you joined us, my guy. Trying to keep your brother in line here. Of course, you know all about that. You've been doing that your entire life, so you know it's an uphill battle.
I did my part. I was on the tech side of things. I put A, and so there's my contribution to him. We chilling now. We chilling over here watching this race.
That's your contribution to him. Oh my goodness, gotta love the brotherly love and rivalry at the same time. It's always good.
Yeah, and not your best friend there on Saturdays, and best friend the rest of the week. So we'll take that.
Well, not your best friend if your last name, starts with B and ends with Ishop. But we'll leave that there. That one's for you, Brian.
It's a nice way to close out a season. Just, here we go, 89 and teammate Steven Knight in the 79. They're coming down pit road here. Right at the lap 100 mark, and gonna put everybody but the top 10 a lap down as this cycles through.
Yeah, a lot of guys coming in. John Howard coming in hot, had that thing kicked sideways. So these are a lot of your drivers, Jeremy, that were kind of in the top 10 or flirting with the top 10. They're now giving all of those positions up as your top 4 or top 5 actually remain out at this point in time. But green flag pit stops, and this is going to be the final pit stop for these drivers. As long as it goes green the rest of the way, they will have no reason to come back down pit road. So whatever adjustments are going to make, you better make them, and you better hit it out of the park on this one, because there is no mulligans. There is no get out of jail free card. You got what you got. You run what you brung at that point in time to the end.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's going to be anything resembling any type of cautions. These guys are just running super clean, and this is it. No mistakes to be had on your final pit stop. Make sure you don't speed, hit the pit box correctly. Don't overshoot exit on these flat, sharper cornered pit road exits. And there's EJ Luna. He's coming to the box. You see Tyler Honeycutt, the 20. He's right in front of him, the 54. As well as Brody Marinko. He's at his service. On track, Brandon Crichton, the number 02. Trying to go 2 for 2 on his opening season here for the Global Sim Racing Truck Series. Has that 2-second advantage over this guy who has just barely, not even missed a single podium. I think -1 in the past month and a half. Just railing him away here late in the going.
Yeah. And then John DeMatteo running P3. I mean, he's been solidly in the top 5 to top 10 all night. Running a clean race. He's keeping it clean. Has had some good battles with Mike Hayes, with Bobby Mantle, a lot of the top 5, top 10 drivers. So we'll just have to see how this plays out with green flag pit stops. Right now, still cycling through green flag pit stops, but Brad Miner is in 4th, and Patrick Ginter is now in the top 5. So first time we've called out the 75 tonight, Jeremy, but he looks like he's just out there for a Sunday drive. He, yields way to the 78 of John Howard, who just come out of pit road with 4 fresh Goodyear sneakers on that truck. And now you're going to start seeing a lot of these drivers just, woo. Man, you seen that backfire come out of that tailpipe. He had to back way out of it, so that truck definitely getting loose. I would see him come down to pit road probably right about now if I was a betting man. Oh, no.
You lost your
I lost.
chips there.
Yep. I put it all in, man. I went all in and lost it.
Sounds like Denny Hamlin.
Ooh,
going all in.
too soon?
Can't get it done. Maybe not. We'll find out. As that year actually, as mid-season he was all in at the beginning of the year, so we'll see how that plays. But yeah, that sounds like my betting life too. Typically doesn't go as planned, of course. You always plan to win, not lose, and that's not what I'm good at on that side of things.
Yep. So, oh, De Matteo. De Matteo.
Oh, no,
De
no,
Matteo. Oh, and stops it on the track. First caution flag of the night. It's man, I don't know, Jeremy. That one there, he locked it up and stopped it right on the bottom of the track. He probably could have let that roll right down to the apron and it would have been good. No caution would have come out. But
Oh, yeah.
he locked it up and stopped it right on the track just above that yellow line there.
No, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
No question. That was he was nose first, looking at pit road, looking at the apron, and decided to press the stop pedal right in the middle of the three. And here's the Nerd TV replay to take a look at John.
Oh, he had help there from Tyler
huge
Honeycutt.
help.
I
I
mean-
think maybe was he coming down pit road?
He I don't know if he was or not. You know, we'll back
I mean,
it up
he
here
was-
with the little VHS rewind here. He didn't signal that he was. I mean, he went down the entire backstretch and
He's slow. Like I know he needs to come down pit road sooner or later.
well, it's hot. Honeycutt
know.
had fresh tires, so like I said,
Yeah.
he had it locked down. There was no cars coming, and he just come to a complete stop right there. You know, he could have rolled it right on the apron and let racing keep going on that one there. So I don't know. We just call what we see. That's all we do, Jeremy. We just call what we see. But I would have, me personally, we've been in those situations. I just would have let it roll off the racing surface and out of the way of everybody and not stopped on track.
I'm just curious of Tyler Honeycutt's perspective. Remember, he's been running inside the top 5 in that number 20 truck. He's currently 1 lap down on the scoring pylon, but in 9th place. But the fact that he just drove into turn 3 and just drove to the back of the 26th, I mean, this is normal speed here, and just gradually, there was no brake check. It was just a gradual, hey, I'm just going to bump you out of the way. So I don't know if there's a backstory to that, but kind of a weird circumstance to just drive through the 26.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, that situation there, that's a tough one to talk about. I mean, there definitely could have been different things done by both drivers. Tyler Honeycutt having the fresher tires, probably could have backed out a little bit more on that one there. The 26, knowing the fresh tires was coming, probably could have, yielded and went high and gave that preferred inside groove. 26 probably could have just let it roll off the track instead of stopping on the track and bringing out the yellow. So, I mean, there were things that the drivers, each of them could have done differently to prevent that whole situation.
Yeah, 100% here now. Storyline. The number 1, Michael Hayes, got his caution. He'll be in 8th place when he cycles back through around the pace car with the 1 to go signal. We know this truck's fast. And so can he pass the other trucks and get up to maybe compete for that podium spot? He's got the speed. Can he pass the trucks and make it happen?
Yeah, he's got older tires too. Remember, he was one of the first ones that pitted. So he's got the older tires. That's going to have to play a factor in it. He's not going to be able to come into pit because, as you tell right now, we are following the 0-2. You look at that roof. All those drivers up there at the tail end of the lead lap, they have to circle all the way back around. If they come down pit road now, they're going to go a lap down. They will not be able to get the wave around on it. So Mike Hayes is going to have to stay out on that one, in order to maintain and stay on the lead lap to even have a chance at that. But he's going to be, like you said, Jeremy, in closer relative striking distance than where he was prior to his green flag pit stop, which was over 16 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, and here they go. They're all going around as we speak. And this is going to reel in the 0-2 to the back bumper of the Pace truck here. That's in currently turn 1, entering turn 2. And 1 to go here. They're going to stack them up 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through. They might extend this caution to let the entire field catch up. Not too sure if they will. I think they might make it on time, but sometimes they do that just to allow for accuracy and credibility to the guys who are trying to cycle through. And look at that. Look just that small field behind the Pace truck. That's a lot of trucks that have to cycle through. They're in turn 1 and 2 now. You start to see them creep up. I would probably wave this restart off the way they're filing in, Dustin.
Yeah, they're still coming off of turn 2 right now, so I don't know if they're going to make it or not at this rate.
No, we're going to keep this thing live. Pace truck going down. They're going to get on the brakes and then get back to the gearbox real quick. 4 on the top. Everybody else cycled through on the bottom. Single file for the rest of the field. Green flag is out here, resuming this race on lap 113.
Oh.
And
huge stack up.
Yeah, that's what happens. They're trying to get there to
3 wide. Look at this. 3 wide on this restart going into turn 1. They're not even up to speed, Jeremy. And they're pushed at 3 wide. Like you said, that's what happens, though. And it breeds a caution. There it is. Oh, no. And Mike Hayes got it. Keep it off the wall. And he does. Oh, but Danny White does not. Oh.
That's unfortunate. And this is why I would have thrown that extension, but they decided not to. And it caused a little chaos that first half a lap of this restart. And Michael Hayes gets hit hard there in the left rear. But what happened up front? The 88 just gets loose on cold tires.
Oh,
the 48. How
wow.
did he miss? How did... Okay, we got some camera angles to look at. Of course, he had the...
Ooh, man, how did he miss that?
There was 2 trucks. What was it? There was another black and green truck as well that barely avoided. I think that might have been John Howard in the 78. But yeah, we got some camera. That was close calls right there.
All right. Well, here's the thing though. We don't have numbers that are actually matching up. So is the 48 the 44 of William Gay?
If you survey says
yes.
Yes.
So we do not have numbers matching up to that on the pylon. And see, this is why it's ever so important to have a matchup, because it throws the broadcast crew for a loop. You see the 88 get loose on those, again, cold tires. Oh, my goodness.
And then John Howard, you're going to see the 78. Watch how close he gets. Not him, but the next truck. Just somehow he squeaks
down
by.
on the low side. We're going to have to go on board with that one there, too. John Howard, another solid piece of driving there.
Yeah, we'll go on board the 78 for sure. And that was I'm curious how Michael Hayes' truck's going to look. Got hit hard there in the far left rear corner, but Danny White in the 64 clearly hit the inside wall of the nose. Here's the 78's perspective. He's going to make that call, and you're so close, just like the 48. My gosh.
Oh, it looks like Ron Harrington just squeaked by, too.
Yeah, man. And there's the hit there you see in the background, the number 1 going for a quick 360. Yeah, really missing that inside wall.
Yep, we're going to go back and watch that one. That's a tough one there, too, because, like I said, he was on his way up. He's going to see everything start to happen, and you're going to see him dive down to the inside right there, and right there, contact is made. You see him spin. But I tell you what, he does an excellent job keeping it off that wall. Danny White behind him in the 64, though, not so lucky. Hard left side impact. But the question is how bad was that impact on that right rear of the number 1? Is that going to be something that's going to affect him or not?
Yeah, time will tell there. And after going over those replays, some trucks made down pit road, including the number 1 of Michael Hayes. Let's see, what other trucks on the lead lap? We got the number 25, Abram Ghostin. He came down pit road. Stephen Knight in the 79. Bobby Mantle, Jacob Grant, Tyler Honeycutt. So the highest running truck to come down pit road would have been the number 19, Jacob Grant, 7th place. So 7th on back, essentially. Came down pit road for tires. So now the leaders don't have the best tires. Now it's the trucks in the back half of the 13 that are currently on the lead lap. So this is going to cycle some things through.
Yeah, this is definitely going to cycle some things through, but I mean, those leaders do not have very many laps on those tires right now, Jeremy. I mean, they've got what, roughly about 7 laps on those tires, give or take, as far as green flag. I mean, they're not even sent in. I don't know. It's going to be tough. The equalization out between those tires having 7-8 laps on them and the new tires. Those tires with 7-8 laps are still fast. And all these drivers here have to work their way through all the other drivers now, which if you look at that, by the time they get done working their way and weaving their way through, those tires are pretty much going to be equalized at this point in time. But some of these drivers had to come down and fix damage that had occurred on that last caution, Jeremy. So, I mean, there's a lot of strategies playing into this, and it very well could play out for some of these drivers like Jacob Grant, Bobby Mantle, Tyler Honeycutt, Steve Knight, all these drivers that came down. It could work out for them. Only time's going to tell, because now everybody's bunched back up. We don't have, 7, 8, 16, 20 seconds in between positions. We've got like 1, 2 tenths between positions now.
Yeah, and this is going to make things a lot more fun. Cold tires once more. We saw the 88 have the issues, so take note. Don't do a Curtis Noble and spin her on out. Let them warm up for a couple laps. Here we go. Pace truck is down, resuming on lap 118 of scheduled 150. 33 laps to go in the Bluegrass 200. And Brandon Crichton with an excellent start over the 12. Joshua Slade dips down there, single file. Third place and fourth place, they're side by side through 1 and 2.
Yeah, a lot of side-by-side battles now. I mean, you look further back, Honeycutt Knight duking it out right now.
No.
Whoa!
Jacob
Wow.
Grant, big loose.
Big loose. He had that death wobble that we see there, and he was able to do it. Oh, what we got going on back here? Clayton White is around. What happened to Clayton White on that one? Going into turn 3, our third caution comes out, and Jeremy, that broadcaster's observation is cautions breed cautions. We went about 2/3 of this race without a single caution, and within a 10-lap period, we have had 3 cautions presented by Boomer Button Box come out.
Well, we're going to take it to the replay, and we're going to let you decide what happened here on the back straightaway. Far chase camera really tells a picture, but you see the 88 up at the top, and then he wasn't. And that's what happened to the 14, and then the little safety check for measures.
Oh no!
Yeah, far chase camera. This is you see the line, top of the track, middle of the track.
Oh,
14.
the 88 just comes all the way
Yeah.
down. He comes down like a lane and a half, 2 full lanes down into the 14 on that, and collects the 14 of Clayton White. And then, like you said, gives him a nice little right rear smoochy smooch to seal the deal on it. Oh, that was that one was on the 88. I mean, clearly came down lane and a half to 2 lanes on that one. That's a tough break for the 14 of Clayton White.
Yeah, that was just, I don't know, like, the prior caution when the 88 spun, the 14, Clayton White, he was right there in front. He didn't make any contact, and the 88 just got loose, that being Curtis Noble. So, I look back, I didn't see any ill content as far as that perspective goes. I think it was just a bad judgment call of just, I don't know, but either way, it made contact with those two, send them around, and cautions are breeding the cautions, and we're going to rack them and stack them again under 30 laps to go when we go back to green flag action here. Dustin, we're going to kick it to a quick picture-in-picture before the drop of the green flag, so we'll be right back. Back to full screen here. Half a lap before going back to green flag, resuming on lap 123, which is going to put us about 27 laps to go at the line. And Brandon's been getting excellent restarts over the 12. The 12 now knows how the 02 is participating on these restarts. And so if he can maybe get a little bit of jump, we'll find out. John Day Mateo, P3, EJ Luna, P4, Bradley Minor. That's your top 5. Pay truck's going to dip down now. Waiting for the guide code restart zone to see this restart. Are the cautions over? That's now the big question. It was been super clean up to this point. Now we had 3 cautions in a row. And there we go, green flag. The same restart for the top 2. These 2x2 here. Last 2 restarts we had 3 wide in the back of the field. And going through 1 and 2 this time looks like it's a little bit cleaner, kind of, about 10th place. You see a little bit of a congestion, but we make it through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, make it through 1 and 2, and more importantly, we make it through turn 3 and out of turn 4, so we're doing better than what we did on the last restart, but oh man, they are getting close. 3 wide racing here. That's Grant on the bottom, Honeycutt in the center, and you got Mantle on the high side. They're going 3 wide. Mantle really throwing it out there, though. He's going to try to sit here and get a twofer. And I tell you what, Jeremy, this is some good battling here. That 3 wide, this track is holding it. Mantle's going to power ahead, but still, Grant and Honeycutt battling side by side. Further back, you see Knight and Hayes duking it out side by side as well.
Ooh, Jacob had to lift a lot there, but he's going to get that speed back on corner exit. Continues to be nose to nose with Tyler Honeycutt. Barely edges him out that time by. Get to the 26 laps to go mark here. 14, Clayton White tried to maybe go 3 wide, but Stephen Knight drove it in deep on the outside. He now gets to the outside of that number 1, Michael Hayes. That's a great racing right here, just in this top 10 area.
Yeah, and as always, Jeremy, you always pointed out that top 10 is usually where some of the best racing is taking place. That's where we see that, the amazing 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 wide racing depending on the track. And these drivers are letting it out. They know that we have 25 laps to go. We are 125 into scheduled 150 distance right now. And these drivers are really laying it out there, Jeremy. Right now, Brandon's still out front, but this is where the big battles are taking place, as they're just now starting to try to get it single-filed out, Jeremy.
I want to kick it back to the race lead. Joshua Slade in his chest. Giving it L right now. Trying to keep up with Brandon the best he can.
Pulling a Houdini act, too.
Yeah, when he's not trying to go John Cena on us here.
Can we say he's going ghost mode?
I mean, yeah, it's not his team, but he's definitely doing it.
Yeah, I was referring more to the sponsor. Yeah.
Dad, just don't rely on me for information at this point.
Jeremy's been a little under the weather, so I'll give him a little bit of leeway on that one. But yeah, Slade is really laying it on right now. He's had a very conservative race up till now, but he is not letting Brandon pull away at all. And further back, you see a battle right now for the 3rd position. That's going to be between Luna, De Matteo, and Minor. These 3 are duking it out. This is an ever important battle because this is for podium position. This is to have a chance to come out up here with us, showcase and talk with us, give shout outs to those who are watching, your sponsors and supporters. So it's always a high commodity to try to get to that 3rd place. And not only that, but for the point value as well in the actual championship. So these guys are duking it out. We got a battle further back there. It looks like that's going to be between, again, Mantle and Honeycutt. They're trying to duke it out to chase down those guys to try to even make the top 5. So that's an ever-important stat on top of that as well.
Mantle threw it in deep, washed up, had to check it up there, but looks like he's able to take that position all by himself. Nose to tail here, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place. John Day Mateo, EJ Luna, Bradley Minor. Minor looking to the inside, trying to take over 4th place here. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to their head nerd in chief there, Brandy Loxton. Chats saying we're doing a great job and calling out my snacks. Of course, that snack though, that's a long running thing. We have not talked about that recently, but it's a long running thing between me and her on the broadcast side of things. But appreciate you joining in and watching back half of this race anyways, and seeing these two trucks still nose to tail here, trying to get that checker flag in 19 laps.
Yeah, and the thing is so Slade's been, I mean, literally in the wake. Well, he blinked out. He ghost moded again. Literally in the wake of Brandon right now. He gives it up going into the corner there a little bit, but tends to make it up on corner exit and really draws him in down the straightaways. The question is, catching a driver, though, is one thing. But will he be able to pass him once he does get that move? And again, he's going to have to time it right. He's going to have to wait for the opportunity, but it's not going to be easy. I mean, Brandon has definitely had the truck out here to beat. He's been the class of the field since he took the lead way back on like lap 7, like lap 6. So it's going to be tough, Jeremy.
It's very tough. We know the long run goes to Brandon. But this time the 12 is not lagging back. He's not trying to save tires. He's trying to pick up another W in the Global Sim Racing Truck Series and trying to stop Brandon from trying to sweep the first 2 races of his Global Sim Racing Truck career. So doing a great job keeping him at bay at the 0.2 of a second marker. And it's a tough feat, because you're right nose to tail, right? You don't have the downforce on the truck nose, but he's able to keep them at the same token. But cycling back through here, looks like there's a pass between Mr. Jacob and Michael through 3 and 4.
Yeah, these guys have been doing it. Mike Hayes has been trying to move up. Oh, slides up right in front of the 19, though. Woo. There was no room in between those guys there. Mike Hayes up to P8. Right now, Jacob Grant back to P9. Hayes trying to chase down Tyler Honeycutt now. So Mike Hayes still trying to battle up to crack that top 5. He's got 3 more trucks to pass. And Jeremy, they are not going to be easy passes. That's going to be Tyler Honeycutt next on the slate. Then Bobby Mantle and then EJ Luna just for that driver there to crack the top 5.
Yeah, 100% there. And single file through the whole field here. Josh Slade starting to fall back just a touch as you're cycling through there. And, you know, Brian's on the chats, and I was trying to come up with a reference point for that. And I was going to say, like, he needs to get up on that wheel and drive to it. Get up on that thing. And he needs to get past the 0-2 here, Brandon.
A little hawk to it. Yeah, little hawk to it. So, yeah, he's going to have to. I mean, at this point, he can't let him go. He's got to try to capitalize. He has to strike while the iron is hot. In this case, while the tires are prime, he has got to get up there. But Jeremy, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. It's going to take a mistake from the 0-2 of Brandon in order to make that happen, and obviously his internet to stop blinking in and out like that in order to do it. But we have not seen a mistake out of the 0-2. We didn't see a mistake out of him 2 weeks ago on his league debut when he took the W then. We haven't seen a mistake from him tonight. This driver has been solid the last 2 races that he has done here, which ironically enough are the only 2 races with the Global Racing League here for their truck series. So it's going to be a tough feat to topple that 0-2 tonight, because he's been on rails.
Apparently it's going to be tough to get to the 0-2 at any point in time. The way he's showcasing his speed in his first 2 starts here. Joshua Slade is trying everything he can. We know he can do it, but Brandon is just so fast and a little more consistent on the wheel. Of course, he's got the clean air, so he's got the advantage. And with the new aero package, I mean, it's probably making things a little more difficult for Josh, but either way, we're getting to the line here. 11 laps to go. 88 slow on the top. Going to throttle back, but as we look back through the field, and back to the main action there. The 88 kind of choked up the 0-2 on exit, but then on entrance here, the same thing goes to the 12. He has to shallow entrance into turn 1, which makes turn 2 very difficult. He's going to lose a little bit of time here to that 0-2, but we can cycle back to the field now. That's where most of the action's at. Got some side-by-side back there for 5th and 6th.
Yeah, one thing you did mention, Jeremy, that struck a chord to me was that clean air. So since that the most recent update that they've had, and look at that, Mike Hayes powers by the 20 Tyler Honeycutt, still on his trek up to try to crack the top 5, but Honeycutt not giving it up lightly. But to rebound back to, that clean air, since that update, when these trucks get behind other trucks, that dirty air effect, it changes the entire way that these trucks handle. Like, they get looser, and you already have to use the throttle more in these than what you did in the previous build of these trucks. So they handle slightly different as well. Puts a whole new set of variables in there. There's a big cut down by the 89 and Mantle down below Honeycutt. Hayes, this is what he wants to see in his rearview mirror, though, as he tries to chase down EJ Luna.
Gotta make 89 really tight here through this set of corners. Can the 20 do a crossover? He does. He's going to make a look to the inside on the back straightaway, as we're going to get to 8 laps to go this time at the line. And the 89 has been holding his own on this second groove. And once more, he's going to be able to do it and clears Tyler Honeycutt. Now he's going to bring Jacob Grant in the 19 as he barely beats the 20 to the line.
Yeah, Grant trying to rebound back up. He lost a couple on that most recent restart. He's trying to battle back up. This is the battle for 8th. He will clear Tyler Honeycutt. Honeycutt falls back to 9th, still in the top 10. But now we have to wonder, is the one of Mike Hayes going to be able to chase down EJ Luna for that 5th place?
That's a great question. I don't know if that's going to be answered, but he's going to get it hell. That's all for sure there. It's going to be tough. I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't see it happening, but either way, looking at this battle here, John DeMatteo, Bradley Minor. Bradley, solid run, put himself into podium position. I cannot recall if we've had the 46 in our booth on post-race interviews. I'm not sure, but right now, he's in position for it.
Yeah, I can't recall if we have. I think it's been only once, but there's a chance that this could be his first time. He had a good drive, got around the 26 of DeMatteo there. DeMatteo trying to put on a lot of pressure on that 46, but Minor holding strong. But, man, he is all over the tailgate of that one there. As you see, he dives it in. To look at the close rate from DeMatteo, though, from center off, he closes in on that apex of the corner and then just stays there, but just does not have enough to get that run going. Looking to the inside now. Minor going to stick his line. Nothing there. DeMatteo pulls the veteran move, pulls back in line. Not to sit here and cause any contact. He's going to try to rack it, stack it, come back at him again.
5 laps to go, 4.5 now on the back straightaway. Your top 2 are gone. 3 seconds separate them 2 from these 2. And this is where the action is at the moment. Bradley's going to get a slight advantage. 2 truck clinks over the 26 at the line. 4 laps to go for the Bluegrass 200. And yeah, this is for podium position. Top 3 interviews. John drives it deep into turn 1. Gonna make it stick a little bit here on corner exit. So he brought it within a half a truck length now.
Yeah, he's been all over him. The question is can he maintain? This raises that question again. He's caught him after the 46 and Minor passed him. DeMatteo's caught back up to him, but is he going to be able to pass him? Passing is a whole different story, especially at this track here. It's going to be a close one. This is a big-time battle further back. Mike Hayes is catching EJ Luna lap by lap, but is he going to have enough time? We got 3 laps to go in this race, and right now, 0-2 is just driving off into the distance right now. He has got some separation between him and teammate Joshua Slade. We talked about that battle for third between Brad Minor and John DeMatteo. And then right now, it looks like Mike Hayes and Bobby Mantle are duking it out. That's going to slow down progress, and that's exactly what EJ Luna wants to see to try to maintain that 5th spot.
Yep, this is for 6th and 7th. Strong battle here between the 89 and the 1. Still side by side, dead heat down the back straightaway. But we are now going to get the 1 lap to go, sponsored by Elevated Esports Racing. Or Racing Esports, there we go. Either way, that's their team name. And a little 3 wide action there at the line here, a little bit further back. That's for your 6th and 7th position. But it's, contact possibly here between these 2. Looks like they're going to space it out quite a bit. But we're going to jump to the race leader. Coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. 2 for 2 for the 0-2. Brandon Crichton takes home the checkered flag from start to finish. Going to be dominant in this race. 2 for 2. Awesome job there for Brandon.
And De Matteo did get Brad Miner there on the last lap for the final podium position. EJ Luna does hold 5th place. And that battle between Bobby Mantle and Mike Hayes, mark it to Bobby Mantle taking 6th, and Mike Hayes taking 7th.
Coming to the 1 to go, Bradley Miner just really had a slow and low exit of turn 4 and allowed John De Matteo to take advantage of it. And then put the 26 into P3. And there we go. I'm going to get to the start-finish line and burn it down for the 2 teammates there of One Motorsports. Great job. This team is just, if they keep this up, man, this team is going to be the dominant team here. It was Grim Reaper for a while, and all of a sudden One said, hey, we're number 1 on our name for a reason. As they're all doing burnouts here at the start. And actually, it's a team sweep. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4. They took the top 4.
I didn't even recognize that.
Yes,
but yeah.
they took the
this
top.
Is why
okay.
They're
all right, so I know you
give
heat for hitting the wall, but what are you going to do for hitting other team drivers on your victory burnout?
It's allowed.
It's allowed. Okay, I didn't know what the rules were. You never put that out there. I didn't know what the rules were on that one.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that one. That's destroy your trucks. That's fine. 1, 2. It's just a complete demo derby out here.
It is. Oh my goodness! But I tell you what, though, I mean that's a well-earned demo derby. I mean that is a team sweep right there. The top 4 positions. The only driver in the top 5 that is not One Motorsports is EJ Luna for Lone Star Racing. So that's a well-deserved victory celebration, demo derby-esque. Massacre out there at the start-finish line for sure.
Well, as they're continuing to pile it in there, unofficial results presented by Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles here. Brandon Crichton P1, Joshua Slade P2, John De Matteo P3, and Bradley Miner all 4 1 of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. EJ Luna 5th, Bobby Mantle 6th, Michael Hayes 7th, Jacob Grant 8th, 9th place Tyler Honeycutt, 10th place Stephen Knight. 11th on back, Abram Ghostin, Clayton White, Patrick Gentner, 14th, William Gay, 15th, your first truck 1 lap down, Brody Marinko, and then you got Stephen Hayes, Jason Schilling, John Howard, Shane Wielden, Ron Harrington, Curtis Noble, Danny White, Stephen Smith, and Jamie Horn ran out tonight's 24 truck lineup for the Bluegrass 200. It's going to be our full screen commercial break. We're going to get our top 3, basically all the team from One, and we'll be right back. And welcome here to the March Sports post race show on Nerd TV for the Global Sim Racing Truck Series. And well, one of one took 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we did have Joshua Slade in Discord. I don't know where he went, but we're gonna bring in fourth place, third place, and first place, and I'll bring in Joshua when he comes back in. So we're just gonna
Why not? Why not?
whole team meeting here in the post race. There's Josh. We're gonna bring him in. We're gonna stack him up, all four teammates. How's it going, everybody?
Doing amazing.
Amazing.
What a party on the front stretch that was there. I usually call out people who hit the wall, but if you're gonna demo derby it up with other trucks, I'm cool with it. So I guess Bradley, you kind of surprised me about popping in here. So we're gonna talk to you first. We're gonna talk to our first time ever on Nerd TV, talking to our fourth place finisher. Bradley, how's it feel, man?
Oh, it feels awesome. I didn't think I was in there at the beginning. The truck was really tight. Took that first pit stop, loosened it up. I was back in traffic. Then we all kind of strategized on our last pit stop, so it kind of worked out in our favor. So it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, yeah, great job there. You've been getting better and better and better. Now you're here in the podium finishing spotlight, and so just great performance out there from each and one of you. So I guess third place now, John Day Mateo. You and Bradley were kind of seventh and eighth place mid race, and then so you did the same thing. How well or how much practice did this whole team have to get in this kind of position tonight?
I'll tell you what, we put in a ton of work this week as a team. I just want to thank Brandon, Josh, and the rest of the team, Brad, all of them for putting in a ton of work, especially with the setups, as well as practicing, reviewing tape, and just all working together just to come to this point. We couldn't have done it without all the work we put in together.
Yeah, that's awesome to see, and it definitely paid off there. Going to move over to second place, Joshua Slade, the man who cannot get away from podium finishes anymore. Hey, you brought in a new teammate, and he's whipping you guys now. What do you need to do in your camp to get that 12 back to Victor Lane to stop the 0-2?
Probably wreck him, honestly, at this point.
There you go.
Yeah, but no, honestly, I can't be any more proud of Brandon and the rest of my guys. I mean, we've put in a tremendous amount of work, and the camaraderie is there. We're all hanging out each week or every day of the week, going over setups, asking about tweaking, and learning more information about building sets. So, and all of it's paying off. So I can't be any more proud than all the guys that want to win motorsports.
Yeah, fantastic job there. And then Brandon, 2 for 2. You're dominant in both races. How do you feel about the first two races, and is this something that we're just gonna expect now the rest of the season?
I don't know. These guys are getting pretty good. I mean, John has improved immensely over the past couple weeks, and Josh is fastest. I mean, he's unbelievably fast, and kind of worried about that going forward, to be honest with you. And Brad's getting really, really good too. But I don't know. I might have to put Josh on the wall next week.
Well, you put each other into the wall. Oh, go ahead.
I heard a hot tour during Yes. What was that about?
Yeah, so my brother's in the chat right there, right? And he said I needed something like that. So I said you need to get up on that wheel and drive to it. Get on that thing. You know, a little reference for it. Nate, you sure did.
Oh yeah, we died laughing when we heard that.
A little hot tour.
So there you go. You definitely got up on that thing, and all four of you guys just a fantastic job. I don't know who's going to shout out what partners, but everyone chime in. Who do you got to think tonight? I'll go first.
Shoot. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
No. Yeah, you go for it.
All right. Honestly, I want to thank you guys in the booth, everybody in Global, for putting this on each and every week. Shout out to One of One Motorsports, Reaper. Shout out to Brandon, because he builds sets and going over the knowledge base with us each and every week. So just shout out to everybody who just really helps out throughout the week and makes whoever makes this really great. So shout out to all the guys.
Anybody else got any shout outs here?
Heck yeah, I got some shout outs. I gotta thank my boy Johnny B for fixing my paint scheme. Hell yeah, he's watching. Oh, Randy B, he's watching too. Those are my boys. We're gonna be on Discord later playing some video games. Let's go.
Johnny B and Hey, bunch of B's here. That's all I'm hearing. They just got first names only.
They're just bees. We just call them B.
Okay, 10-4. Anybody else got any shout outs before we close this thing up?
They're shy. They're
There
shy.
we go. That's shy.
Plead the fifth.
All right, 10-4.
Ditto on what they said.
10-4, man. Well, congratulations to the entire team. You guys smashed them up. So a lot of work on the virtual crew to repair all these trucks for next week. But yeah, get at it next week. Maybe we'll do the same thing. But congratulations, all four of you.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Yep, you're very welcome. And now I get the fantastic job of pulling on all four drivers out of this thing here. A little bit of a pause break there, but you know, we change things up, man. When the team does that well, we're going to change it up. We're going to talk to them all. That's kind of cool. And yeah, Dustin, quiet race for 100 and some laps, and then chaos, back-to-back cautions. They made a fun ending to this thing.
Yeah, it was about 120 laps. It was, it was a very textbook Nashville Super Speedway racing event. Very clean event here by everybody at Global Racing League and the Global Racing Truck Series. And then it was just that typical cautions breed cautions. You know, the first one come out and it was rapid fire succession. Had the second one come out and the third one come out. All that within about an 8 to 10 lap, time frame. So but after that, man, the last 25 laps, Jeremy, it's a lot of drivers put on some hellacious battles, and they did it very well. So it was a good race, man. I'm glad to be back broadcasting these guys. It seems like we take a week off and everything, and we come back, and these guys come back rejuvenated, ready to rock and roll. And I'm kind of hoping that's how it's going to be this week and next week at Chicagoland, one of my home tracks, because Iowa Speedway is a second home track for me, living on the Iowa-Illinois border. So back to Chicagoland, and then we'll be off for 4th of July, and then hopefully let those boys rejuvenate and come back again for another long stint. But, Jeremy, top-notch racing by these guys, man, and what dominance. It's not the first time we've seen dominance either. I don't want to sit here and throw out any dominance. We've seen dominance by Grim Reaper Motorsports. We've seen it by Lone Star, where they've taken 4 out of the top 5. We've seen Ghost Motorsports dominate as well. So I love when we get a chance to showcase and we actually get to broadcast and show the dominance that these teams do like that. And, a 1st through 4th like that for One of One Motorsports. I believe that's their first time they've done that. So it's an awesome moment. It really is. A lot of strong teams out here, and there's a lot of racing left this season, Jeremy.
Yeah, we've seen the top 3 sweep, but see the 4 complete team sweep. I think that's the first, and that's why we first time ever interviewed 4th place. That's kind of cool. And Chicago's gonna be a great race. That track is multi-grooved on the racing surface.
Thank goodness.
Not too many times where you can see a multi-groove, non-progressive banked 1.5-mile track, but Chicagoland does bring that, so that's going to be fun to watch. And speaking of coming back rejuvenated, RSR Next Gen Cup Series this Tuesday. We had a 2-week hiatus. They got some things. They had to do some
administrative work.
Soul searching. They got administrative work, and that's going to be back and better than ever, I think. So stay tuned there on Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. But we're going to close this thing out with a video voiced by Scott Martin. So you guys stay safe. Get your nerd on.
This presentation is brought to you in part by
Martin Sports. Get the apparel, look stylish, be badass with apparel from Martin Sports. martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag. Must-have flag marshaling system for any aspiring sim racer. Get yours today at iracingiflag.com. Boomer button boxes. Total sim control at your fingertips. boomerbuttonboxes.com. If you race hard, then you need to rock hard.
And no station gets you harder than
iRock935.com. If you're a collector and that's your game, then Dusty Pete's, that's the name. dustypete's.com. TW.
Back when nothing truly